Hello and welcome to Wake and Jake. It is April 9th. The season is afoot. We're about 2 weeks in, which means it's hot take season. You know that's all we do over here. No. We've actually taken the angle of kind of reacting to hot takes and seeing if we like the smoke or if we don't like the smoke. And if you want to read along with us, I want to give it a shout out to ESPN. Every year they do a 2-week in article. We did last year. Kind of reacted to it. Hottest takes in 2 weeks. And I like that they reference it in the article. So again, however you're doing it, whether you think there's a way to get some sneaky bets in, or if you think there's maybe you need to talk a friend down from a favorite player who's exceeding what you expected from them in these first 2 weeks of the season. It is funny when you see stats are with 10 games right now, and it's like, yeah, I've seen a lot of players have really good 10 games. Right now, two of the best outfielders are Trent Grisham and Harrison Bader. Hey, maybe that continues. Defensive studs, something clicked with the stick. I could see another world where they don't continue on those trajectories. So, the thing I do want to look back on before we get into this, and I like that, places that write, you have to mix it up a little bit, that they had a theme last year. Their theme was hot sauces. This year their theme is baseball stadiums and how warm they're getting. So, Tampa, Sacto get shout out in there. I want to do a little bit of where they were last year, high and tight, just to preface you guys, and it starts off on a good note. And again, last year's theme was hot sauces. So they're mild takes, hot takes. Kylie McDaniel, we said we're going to befriend him this year. Guess around the draft, I don't know. I know he's doing more than the draft. That was the whole thing. Anyways, he was talking about pitcher breakouts. Again, this is the start of last year. Cole Reagans will post a 4+ WAR season. I'd have to check the WAR, but yeah, I think definitely. He said that Garrett Crochet, Jared Jones, and Chris Sale will all post 3+ WAR seasons. So, again, what I'm taking away from there, we saw what happened with Crochet, and I think everyone was in on Crochet. Jared Jones, I guess that was early for him. I remember when he visited the office that it was still so much Skeens mania that we were surprised to see how good that guy was. But how about Chris Sale getting a shout-out, who went on to win the Cy Young, which, again, after 2 weeks of the season, and they didn't say that he would go on to win the Cy Young, but it was noted Chris Sale's velocity was the best since 2018. And that ended up panning out. So, for the mild hot sauce, which I need to stop referencing, that was a pretty good start. Dodgers will make the most RBI in history. I don't think that happened. I feel like that'd be something we'd know.
I feel like somebody would have said it and we'd be like, that's actually cool if it happened.
We've got a double dip here with a couple legends. Buster Olney and AJ Mass. I'm not as familiar with AJ, but Buster, our king. Buster said the Mets won't contend this year or anytime soon. Your NLCS Mets. So, sorry, Buster. And then AJ, the New York Mets will make the playoffs, which, again, at that time was the hotter take. He did say, as a part of that the Yankees would not. So, the Yankees went to the World Series. So, I think AJ loses some bonus points there. Buster, with what wasn't a hot take, and a reminder of just how much the Mets have gone and their pitching is working this year. Reminder how important that is. I'll start chewing through these a little quicker because, again, these are last year. Anthony Volpe will produce more WAR in his age 23 season than Derek Jeter. Jeter had a 5 WAR season. Volpe did not. I'll say it was like 3-4, something like that.
Yeah, all things considered, not that far off, but
Yeah.
By the pure WAR number.
Some of the stats, Jeter was 4th in runs, 3rd in AL hits. That was from Hembo, excuse me. I think he likes our stuff, and he does a lot of this stat stuff at ESPN. Bradford Doolittle. Tigers will win the AL Central. At least he was around it, and that was considered, in the hot sauce realm, a pretty hot take at the time. Pirates win the NL Central. I think everyone's just over that. Jesse Rogers was on the White Sox will match the 1962 Mets with 120 losses. So that was, again, that's a big number. That's a big number. And they did that and more. They were really bad. They look better this year. They've got some kids that can actually pitch. Says the 80-year-old scout. What was that? Mike Trout will have a 10-WAR season. Didn't happen. Someone said Trout won't finish the season on the Angels. I was kind of on that. I kind of thought the Trout to Philly would finally actually crack. Nope, still there. 10-WAR season didn't happen.
Unfortunately, didn't finish the season on the Angels for the normal reason.
Right.
It doesn't.
Tristan Cockcroft. Seen him in fantasy for years. Bobby Witt Jr. wins an MVP, almost single-handedly leading the Royals to division title. Bobby Witt, outside of Judge doing historic things, second in the MVP and brought Kansas City to the playoffs. That was spicy. I don't like hot sauce. I should say that. And then these were the hottest takes. Red Sox will represent the AL in the World Series. Wrong. Dave Schoenfield, sorry. We give you love where we want to. I think we're supposed to befriend him, too. Mm-hmm. Ellie De La Cruz is going to steal the most bases this century and become the first 30-80 player. Where did Ellie land?
I think just short on the
60?
homers.
He was 25-67. So, yeah, just a reminder, Ronald Acuna kind of screwed Ellie. Because if Ronald hadn't happened, Ellie's season last year would have seemed a lot more impressive. 40-70 out of Ron. Ellie just ditched the torpedo bat, by the way. Apparently it's not a cheat code. How weird is that? Wrapping up last year, that was from our friend Jeff Passan, by the way, the 30-80. So 0 points granted. That was the last one from last year. Shows you kind of a baseline of we've got good people tracking baseball that we're still hitting at a low clip. I mean, hot takes. That's unfortunately kind of what gets clicks. That's what gets views. That's what sparks our interest a little bit. It's trying to look at something from a different angle, which you want to respect, although everyone has kind of run with the hot take stuff too much. But with their group of ESPN people, let's rate their hottest takes 2 weeks into the season. And it's all brought to you by Cushy Dreams. Uh-oh. Where did the phrase 420 come from? It's a real holiday on April 20th that we're celebrating with our friends at Cushy Dreams. Was it my Little League batting average? Maybe. Have to go check the stats on that. Police code for marijuana? Nobody knows. But it's 420, and it's Cushy Dreams' 5th anniversary. And right now they're celebrating with a big 30% off sale and free limited edition swag. We'll be getting in on that. Right now, you get 30% off all the best stuff. The gummies, the THCA flower, pre-rolls, whatever you like, Cushy Dreams has it. And it's 30% off everything. And orders over $50 enters you to win a Cushy Dreams t-shirt and free THC products. Go to cushydreams.com and use promo code JOMBOY420. We've made it, people. JOMBOY420. Get 30% off your next order for greater savings and get 30% off and enter to win free stuff with promo code JOMBOY420. Thank you, Cushy. So, feeling hot, hot, hot. 2 weeks into the season this year, I mentioned the theme was stadiums, and they started with April in Comerica, which I'm watching the Yankees do right now. It's in the 20s, so these shouldn't be hot takes. And they start off without even hot takes of just saying a breakout smorgasbord, which happens literally every year, so that's nothing. And they patted themselves on the back because they referenced last year's column, and they were like, Cole Reagans, Chris Sale, blah, blah, blah. So the names you're probably familiar with: Christopher Sanchez, Spencer Schwellenbach, Tyler Soderstrom, even some Jack Leiter in there. Yeah, doing a takes column. I think if you weren't into any of those guys, that would be the take. But I'm glad they like them. And yeah, Sanchez, his fastball is just disgusting. And I buying Tyler Soderstrom stock, playing in that ballpark, which you'll hear about later. And I don't know, man. It's 23, and it's one of those. Him playing good this year currently makes his last year look pretty good. Like he had like a 112 OPS plus in 60 games, which again, for a lot of young players, we don't know what to do with that because normally baseball wins. But when you see the 23-year-old first baseman whose home games are at a hitter's park, we guess, maybe a crazy hitter's park, in a pretty decent lineup, who had a good cup of coffee, like when I put all those pieces together, first-round pick, I'm like, yeah, I'm in on him. Watched a little Athletics last night. Dylan Cease against the Athletics. In that new ballpark, 10 p.m., MLB Network ad. 5-3 after the first inning, I think, maybe 6-3. So, Dylan Cease on the mound there. He looks good. He got ran into at first base. I thought he got hurt, and I was about to be sad. Stayed in the game, running the bases the next inning. We love that. They admit these are cold takes. So, their next one, Pete Alonso is going to set a career high with 135 RBI. Okay. We've got a big number out there. And you guys know the logic by this point. Juan Soto, the best person at not getting out, as Foolish Bailey said on this program. He is now in front of him with Francisco Lindor, who had one of his best seasons ever last year, while also we found out there were some parts to it that were unlucky that I would have assumed the other way. And the biggest thing for all three of these guys is they play every day. That I think you guys heard in my voice before the season that I was trying to sell Mets stock, and at the end of the day, I did a little bit. Like I just think in the National League, well, unless their pitching is really real, which it started off the season being really real, more so with Alonso. All in on Pete the Meat. I kind of need revention. What was that? Revention? Is that revenge and redemption?
Yeah,
should that be a word? Revention. Are they the same?
Kinda.
Revenge is getting back at someone, right?
Yeah, I was trying to think of when is the time you would need one over the other.
Redemption. Has no one ever talked about this?
Yeah, I guess redemption would apply more to situations that aren't doesn't have to be against a person.
Revenge is a little more evil
and personal.
Yeah.
Redemption, as far as who you're going against.
Revenge a little more evil and angry. Redemption a little more proud.
Yeah, you're most of the times you redeem yourself.
Whoa. If you liked that, hope you're enjoying your cushy dreams, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Thank you.
Pete Alonso, I think the thing here, his career high is 131 RBI, which again makes this a little bit of a chillier take, and that was pre-Juan Soto. We talked about it last episode. Vladito just got $500 million. Day in, day out, you're taking Vladito. I don't know truly how far apart these two are going to be for the rest of their career. Vladdy has 5 years on him, so money-wise and career-wise, we're obviously going Vladdy. But, man, Pete plays every day. He's got that contract. The guys in front of him play every day. I think he's going to have a massive year. He's got the pillow contract, so he doesn't have to be stressed. Like, if Pete could get hurt tomorrow, which, again, that also goes against a big number of 135 RBI. If Pete misses 3 weeks, it's about over.
Yeah.
Because then you're on pace for a 160 RBI season. But he doesn't do that. I've been in on Pete. My free agency preview episode last year, I've been scared to listen to because I was so hot on Pete. And I think I was down on a couple other guys that I was down on Bregman. I was up on Pete and I was down on Bregman. Bregman got one of the best contracts baseball's ever seen. And Alonso did not. But like we talked about with Vladdy getting that money, Pete's first base market might have just opened up. And if he has that massive year with Soto in front of him. So I get it. And with all that being said, I would take the under. So I'll allow it as a hot take just because that's a massive number. I mean, Pete,
like they said in this blurb, that would have led the NL and RBIs each of the last 10 years. I believe is what was said in here.
Yeah, I mean, if I can, I wonder if I could find a live number on it at the DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm not sure I can. No, they're giving me his per game over under. Meant the season.
I can hunt it.
That's on me. Yeah, hunt that down because I know coming into the year, it was a little over 100 that I doubt it's changed a lot. But yeah, you're playing a health game and a performance game there, which gets scary with some of the big numbers. You know what? I take it back. If I'm being the true to my gambler self, which is willing to lose, prefer to win, I would take the over on that Pete bet. Go nuts, Pete. I'm in. I'm driving the bus. Their next layer, again, we're done with Heat, is May at T-Mobile in Seattle. Sun's coming out. This is good. Good job, ESPN. And if you think I should be crediting more people, it labels them at the end of each one, and the whole column is written by ESPN. So I'd like to think I'm paying it forward enough. The Mariners will finish the season right where they are now, in last place. Hello! Whoa. Swerve around that corner. That's our guy Jesse Rogers, who was on the White Sox last year. So maybe he knows losing. That seems heavy. That seems a little heavy. Yeah, this one comes from, if you're in on the Texas teams, Texas has been playing really good. Houston is Houston till they're kind of not, and we've said that they'd be not for a few years, and they continue to be. This comes into play with the Athletics, who that young core has impressed me. Jacob Wilson at shortstop has been going nuts to start this year. They're looking to call up a guy that's actually referenced in this article a little bit that could really change your scope of how you view the Athletics. So say you're half in on them. 500 even. Okay, you can convince me. You would still need the Angels to be better than Seattle for a full year. That's the hot take on this one. And the Mariners could still be good. That's the thing that's in the back of the head. Like, yes, a lot of baseball teams can be bad. I mean, there's only a few teams that really, and when I say bad, I mean 500. Like, I'll knock on every piece of wood in here, but I've seen my Yankees in 2023, and you're like, the Yankees, and they've got a lot of talent. Like, they finished right above 500, 82 wins. There's very few. I mean, it's the Dodgers and the Phillies and kind of the Braves, although who knows, right? That, like, they literally can't be an 81-win team. There's too much talent. Everyone else, things can just fall apart in a baseball season. as much as I love my Snakes, the Padres, the NL is nasty. That if you get hit with the right amount of injuries, the AL East is brutal. That for me, the Mariners, like, the light bulb could still happen at some point. I guess I would love to hear about their super prospect that's about to be called up. I don't think they have. I don't. Harry Ford, is he on the way? Offensive prospect, I should say. That I don't know. I guess, hey, Jesse Rogers, give him a little sprinkle for identifying how bad the White Sox were last year. Because, again, that was a record that was held for like 60 years. I've always had Seattle on watch. I'll stop there. They could still win the division, and you're not going to sell me on the Angels being that good. But let's see. Mike Trout will win his first Gold Glove as a right fielder. You heard me mention it before. It's always fun to buy Mike Trout stock. It feels like you're going to lose. I hope it's true. Trout has gotten off to a really good start. And man, I don't know. To give ourselves some pat on the backs, if you haven't seen the new Chris Rose show, Dugout Discussions, he talks with Mike Trout. And one of my jokes for years has been Mike Trout, the weather, because that's one of his favorite hobbies. Mike Trout loves the Eagles. Like, that's kind of it. One of the comments, I screenshot it and sent it to some people at the company, was the most liked comment on the video was, this is in 13 years or whatever it is of Mike Trout, this is the most personable I've seen him. And I fully agree. So that's a little credit to Chris Rose. And it started a little slow. Like, again, Trouty, I think Chris Rose opened with, like, remember there was a story about the slushy machines, and it was like Mike Trout loves slushies at one of the stadiums. Trout was kind of like, no, I don't. Which, again, when we're starting there, and this is Chris Rose who's prepared and doing research, that, man, I had a weird moment of John Boy Media. We get nervous about patting ourselves on the back for some stuff, as I just patted ourselves on the back in a way. We didn't really start doing all of baseball since 2019-ish.
July 2019, I think, is the first
episode. Those are the first, like, Talking Baseball episodes, right? Mike Trout won the MVP that year, but it was half a season, and the Angels didn't win the playoffs. And it was the first year of Talking Baseball that those episodes got, what, a couple thousand views? Like, I don't...
Thanks for checking them out if you did.
Appreciate it. I mean, since then, so 2020, which not real, and Trout actually played really well. And if I remember, again, there's a little Angels factor here too, that, again, the Angels were just not relevant constantly. Since then, Mike Trout's relevancy has been significantly less. He played 119 games in 2022, where he finished 8th in the MVP. Outside of that, he hasn't played more than 82 games. A lot of these number totals are very low. Chris Rose asked him about that in the interview, which I thought was a little ballsy. Since 2020, Mike Trout's games per year, or I should maybe take out this year. Since 2020 through 2024, Mike Trout has played 64 games per season. It's a 162-game season. So I was having just this weird kind of emotional moment where I was like, hey, if all of this flipped the script, John Boy Media started in 2010, how much could we have helped, like, getting Mike Trout out there? Not even, like, interviews and goofy guy. Like, I don't think Mike Trout is that guy. But I would go listen to the Chris Rose interview, and, Mike Trout had a little bit of, like, his homers are boring. He's like a bad ball hitter, kind of. He doesn't.
The swing is just so the same every time, and like kind
Yes.
of this in itself isn't really a highlight.
Natural power, like it's a lot of right center field homers that you're like, okay.
A lot of what he does like looks really easy for him, which it is.
Yes. That I guess for me, if we helped the internet see Mike Trout's Rookie of the Year, Mike Trout's 3 first-place MVPs, Mike Trout's 3 second-place MVPs. Like, how different would his story be? Probably not a ton. I don't want to give us that credit. I guess maybe instead of that decade of Mike Trout's a star, but he's not a star, maybe people would have seen him more. Because he hit a homer the other day that he sneakily pimped. I think I tweeted it. Beebs, maybe see if you could find the... Let me see if I'm lying, because then I would feel bad about that. Okay, Jake, maybe stop retweeting the Rizzler. I did. On April 5th, Trout homered off our guy, Bybee. And it's a Mike Trout homer. Like, you've seen it. If you're a baseball person, you've seen it. I don't want to say he pimps it a little bit, but he pimps it a little bit. They're like, what if messing around in the warehouse or kids playing wiffle ball in their backyards, what if the Mike Trout slow walk pimp job was more of a thing? Again, I don't want to give ourselves too much fake credit, but Mike Trout's awesome. Think of all the stuff, the 3 MVPs, the 3 second places. What? Like, this guy's... And what if those Angel teams were any good? Like, this guy's a couple commas away from 5 MVPs? That's insane. That I hope Mike Trout going to right field is easier on his body. Again, Rosie covers a lot of this. It's a really good watch. I want to buy the Mike Trout stock. I think as a baseball player, he still has it. It's literally just health, because those health numbers are really tough. That it's like, get me to the All-Star break before I can fully start dreaming of Trouty again. That's not a way to label anything. He's 33 years old, goes from center to right field. We've seen guys make that change. And yeah, if he's healthy and runs it for a year, give me some Mike Trout. I think I saw Shelfie tweeting he's ready for Trout to come back to Philly again, which we were a couple years removed from that. Okay, this is still our stadium ranking, so we're still in Seattle here. Tatis finished top 3 in the NL MVP race. Yeah. Tatis has a nice little wiggle either way if you want it. If Tatis has a bad for his standards,
underwhelming
for what you think Tatis's regular season numbers should look like, it's going to be a little Vlad Jr.-esque. But that guy just got $500 million. It would just be an offseason of like, wait, is Fernando Tatis Jr. this guy? Is he this guy? I think he's that dude. I think it's happening this year. That I don't think top 3 in the MVP is a hot take from our guy Busteroni. Handsome. June at Globe Life. We're getting hotter. I thought this was going to be like the last column. I didn't think shit got hotter than this. It does. Aaron Judge will post a 500 on base percentage. This is from Hembo, Yankees guy. He notes, Judge in the second half last year, 62 games, 496 on base. So for half, more so closer to a third of the season, Judge was there. He's losing Soto, and right now he's currently getting protected by Jazz on a given day, or hopefully Belly's feeling better. Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Wells. Let's see how the Yankees lineup sorts out. But either way, with no Juan Soto on in front of him, which that'll change a lot of his at-bats. If first base is open, for the right-handed historic season Aaron Judge just had, that first base walk is going to be a lot more appealing. So that makes sense. The protection behind him, I think it's going to be good. But would you rather pitch to Cody Bellinger with a runner on first or just Aaron Judge? I think you guys kind of know the answer. And even if it's a great belly season, which he's been slow, a little back stuff, okay, Jazz, Goldschmidt, Austin Wells. No shame to them. Aaron Judge has had one of the best right-handed hitting seasons a ball player's ever had. That I'll tell you, if that starts becoming a thing, that's crazy and Judge is just in a different world, but not a lot of guys have done this or ended up in this area code, and the guys they are Bonds and Mantle, and Josh Gibson. So, guys that we kind of know as video game characters. And Judge is that good, just a reminder. Passan went lame duck on us. Classic. He said Arraez will be the first player in more than 3 decades with over 600 plate appearances to strike out less than 20 times. I like it more than I depicted, Brother Jeff. I'll be honest. I'm in on Arraez. I need Arraez to be a cheat code for the game. The game to know that this can still exist. Not a lot of guys can be Luis Arraez. Rhyme. I just need the game of baseball to know that this can happen. It can't be taught to every player, but there's a group of players that it can be taught to. And a guy that I just found out is hopefully getting on this level. Maybe not the strikeouts. Well, hold. Geraldo Perdomo from my Diamondbacks. Got the extension before the season. I think him and Arraez are both like 100th percentile contact rate. In 98 games last year, Perdomo struck out 58 times. So, again, that's still like a different league. But a guy who's been a great contact bat, he's not really swinging for pop. In his 50 plate appearances this season, Perdomo only struck out twice. If Perdomo, I don't think he can be a Arraez area, but the whole complaint about Arraez is he's a one-tool guy. Perdomo plays very good defense at shortstop. That I hope Perdomo enters that conversation, and I would love if every year there was like a new guy that became the I don't strike out at all guy. Arraez is on a different level. The number that Passan set is extreme, so we'll give him partial credit, but I don't know. A little soft. Classic. Let's see. We've upped the intensity yet again. We're going July at Sutter Park. I think it's Sutter.
Think so.
For Sacramento. Which is supposed to be hot, hot, hot. I don't want to say dangerously hot, especially if something were to happen. I guess I don't know. I haven't spent a summer on the Sacramento turf. Sometimes a name picks up momentum. And I saw it first with a foolish tweet the other day. I think I saw Cameron Maben and Hosmer discussing this guy online, which I was like, I would have loved to talk to you guys when you were players and talk about prospects, because I don't think you were that into prospects at the time. I could be wrong. And hey, maybe scope is a very different scopes or views are a nice thing to have. Nick Kurtz. Mark it down. Mark it down. Nick Kurtz will finish top 10 in OPS and win Rookie of the Year. Yo. Top 10 in OPS, we're talking, it pretty much has to start with a 9. Number 4 pick last summer out of Wake Forest. He's 22. He is destroying AAA this year after a big year at AA. I get some stats for you. We like stats. There was only one other Kurtz to play Major League Baseball, Hal Kurtz in 68. I don't know if we're related. There's been a lot of minor leaguers, so that's good. Or it's bad. I don't know. Comment below what you think. Nick Kurtz, last year. I mean, God, this guy has played so few games. In 21 minor league games, 390, 489, a 1.33. So that was last year. High A and Double A for 12. 9 AAA games in Vegas this year. So, all right. Am I horrified by the sample? Absolutely. This guy did have a 5.10 OBP in college, which you don't see that a lot. Everyone's in on this guy. Bailey was in on this guy. You guys know I like to tap onto him for some of the prospects because he's more locked than a lot of people. They're saying they want to kick out the Andujar Seth Brown platoon and left. No idea why. They're saying that they should make Rooker play left and have this kid DH. Just a reminder, Brent Rooker has been amazing as a DH. Like, went toe-to-toe with Yordan last year. So that's the way people are talking about this dude. When there's enough smoke, there's fire. He's from Pennsylvania, so now I'm all in. I don't know about a 900 OPS as a rookie. I don't know about top 10 OPS, wins AL Rookie of the Year. I don't know. Sure, knock yourself out, dude. I mean, this Eric Karabell, another fantasy guy that I've just seen for years. Eric Karabell, hot. They're comparing Kurtz to Jim Thome. Go look where Thome landed on the final home run list. Underrated all time, Jimmy T. Let's see. But again, if you've got a little A's stock, or if you're selling your Mariner stock, here's a potential other reason why. And I'll do this because I poo-poo Jolly pretty hard because that's my favorite hobby. Jolly was trying to upsell the Athletics a little bit. I can talk you. Lawrence Butler got the extension. Brent Rooker has been really good. Tyler Soderstrom, breakout. Bang Jaliers, that's all he does. J.J. Bleday, sure. Okay, from there, Jacob Wilson and Mac Muncy are 2 first-round picks that are getting run. Let's find out. One guy I know is dad. The other guy has the name of another major leaguer. Should that matter at all? Absolutely not. But we're interested. Gio Urshela homered the other day. Saw it. So left field, let's say that happens. So now Nick Kurtz is in, and let's say he's a guy. There's a lot of dudes in that lineup. I shouldn't say dudes. I use that term, I want dudes to matter. There's a lot of guys in that lineup that, okay, if I've got Mason Miller on the back end, Jeff Springs, Sevy, Sears, and Beto. I know it's not exactly Generation K, but I can be talked into it more than I thought early on this season, and maybe this is where I'll get hurt. Bradford Doolittle getting hot. Kris Bubic will finish top 5 in the Cy Young. I do like that Bradford says, he opens it up with, disclaimer, hot taking is not a comfortable space for me. I respect the hell out of that. Yeah, I mean, Bubic was a guy that was hurt, ended up in the bullpen, was doing high leverage stuff. Now he's back in the rotation, and he's looked good early. I mean, hey, top 5 in the Cy Young, you might be telling yourself, yeah, like we see guys can do that every year. Well, I shouldn't say that. You're going to see 1 or 2 guys in the top 5 of the Cy Young the year before that weren't there. And this is where I can use my argument for and against. Seth Lugo finished 2nd last year. Cole Reagans finished 4th. Michael Wacha was good. So I can tell you there was 2 guys in the rotation that finished top 5 of the Cy Young last year that Kris Bubic would have to be better than them on his own team. This is before we got to the other 14 teams in the American League. So that's an uphill climb. That same argument that I would use on the other side is maybe these Royals are one of the new pitching teams. Like the Royals pitched their ass off last year. And sure, Cole Reagans, he's breakout young lefty they got in the Chapman trade. Okay, maybe that's not them. Lugo and Waka, they're veterans. That they're going to do their thing out there, but a lot of you didn't have them top 2 in Cy Young last year. Brady Singer bounced back. They traded him for India. Maybe the Royals are one of these pitching teams that their pitching coach or whoever's running their pitching organization, maybe they deserve a little more credit. That Bubic, who's gotten off to a good start this year. 2 starts, a 0.71 ERA, 16 strikeouts. Former first-round pick, if that does anything for you. Kris Bubic, 27. Didn't have that. Right? Turns 28 in August. Feels like a guy I've seen for longer than that. I like it that top 5 Cy Young could be lofty. Also, what if the Royals can have this good pitching lab going on? What if he's due for the breakout, kind of coming off of injury, built himself up a little last year, and this is his year. Somewhere the column did well last year was pitchers, including Chris Sale, who ended up putting it together last year. So that's where I currently am giving people the most credit in this article. And Bradley Doolittle doesn't like hot takes. That's not what he's comfortable doing. But he gave you one. That means he's got to believe a little bit. We've got a torpedo bet. The Yankees will end up outside of the top 10 in home runs in 2025. Yankees aren't built on the homer except the one guy that homers. He homers for 2 guys.
Yeah.
If you're being honest.
He's like, he by himself is having 2 homer guys.
230 home run hitters. That's Aaron Judge. Yeah, I don't know. The Yankees could finish outside of the top 10 in homers, and that wasn't an expectation for me coming into the season. I guess with how good Judge is, I do think that lands them in that top 10 category pretty easily.
He should be able to get them to the fringe of that on his own.
Obviously not on his own, but on his own. But yeah, I'll say it's hot. I guess I'm surprised.
And I guess it's hot because through the first week of the season, they were like so ahead of pace.
So yeah, if you're someone that watches baseball, Yankees, Bronx Bomber, hit homers, whatever. I assume that would be the end of the article. July at Sutter got one-upped by August at Steinbrenner Field. Again, there's 2 minor league fields being used this year. These are caliente. The first one. Angels will win the AL West. Well, hold on now, is what I would say. I've spent a chunk of this episode telling you the Athletics might be good. And they might be. But what's good mean? Mariners. Mariners can win the AL West. Houston can win the AL West. The Texas Rangers can win the AL West. I don't think the Athletics can, and I'm pretty sure the Angels can. I'm more confident in the Athletics to have this miracle youth movement. We're playing at a weird ballpark. Screw the world. Everyone hates the Athletics. Made for TV movie of a season. Then I am on in the Angels. I don't know what that is. I hope Kyron Paris's breakout is real. I hope Trout plays a full season. That's getting an MVP-ish player back. That would be huge. But the whole thing with the Angels has never been about Mike Trout. They got to pitch a lot, and I don't believe too much in their pitching. Although, I watched Kenley Jansen close the game last night. He's sick.
Still gross.
He's a sick puppy, man. 450 career saves. I know we get in the underrated argument a lot. I think he's underrated. This is hot. This is hot. Who said this? Was this Scruggs? Tristan Cockcroft. The top 3 pitchers in the NL Cy Young balloting will all come from the Phillies. Pause for dramatic effect. That's hot. That's hot. 1, 2, 1, 3. I mean, it is an interesting example. And again, why, if you're surprised that I keep lumping the Phillies in with the Dodgers conversation, I mean, this is a great point. He said, not only is it, you're not betting on 3 options, you're betting on 4, basically. Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, Luzardo. That leaves out Ranger Suarez, who was amazing at the start of last season. You got 4 options there. Wheeler has been as consistent and as good as anyone in baseball. Nola has kind of the fluctuating seasons. Chris Sanchez for the breakout. Luzardo, I still like. It's near impossible, and it's near impossible if Paul Skeens didn't exist. Although he got hit yesterday.
It's really going to set him back.
What's that about? To have 3 guys on one team all get those votes.
The literal, like, politics of how the voting works.
Right.
Like, kind of. I don't think it's ever gotten, like, close to happening.
I don't think it, those guys would have to be so good. They would almost have to have their own tiers. Like maybe 1 and 2 could split some first and second place votes. But if they're all mushed together, now you've got beat writers doing that with, hey, this guy had a massive year, Freddie Peralta. It's hot.
They need one of them to be like clear, like 5th on everybody's ballot. And then the other 2 are fighting, getting all the 1, 2, 3s from everybody else. And this guy's just on everyone's.
Yeah.
It's such a perfect storm of things.
I don't see it. I appreciate it. The last one in this article, Giants center fielder Jung Lee will win the batting title and finish top 5 in MVP voting. As you guys know, I'm kind of brewing up a new theory about you need a legit MVP-ish player to go win the World Series. And my whole thing with the San Francisco Giants, who I've started to enjoy, is that Matt Chapman is that guy. They're saying Jung Lee could be it. He's off to a very good start this season. 300, 349, a 799 OPS. Leading the NL in doubles. It's 10 games. He's 26 years old. Win the batting title isn't as nuts. Where's Luis Arraez play? Maybe it is nuts. I hope this one has truth to it. He's fun to watch play defense and center field. Maybe that contact bat is there. Maybe whatever it is, he can keep that through a whole season. If you tell me Jung Lee is a guy, I'll believe you. I can't buy into top 5 MVP. I know what we're doing. We're doing hot takes.
It's a big jump.
47 career at-bats. Games. 201 plate appearances. Again, I know last year didn't go how he wanted, and it was new. But last year was 262, 310, 641. To go from those numbers to batting title to top 5 MVP, I don't see that a lot. I know what we're trying to do here with the article.
Through 10 games, it's a really good time.
If they left it at batting title, I would have liked it a little more. But maybe I need to open up my heart because if Jung-Hoo Lee, if I do think there's a crazy world where he could win the batting title, well, okay, that means he's going to be playing enough games to play center field where I think he's going to rack up defensive WAR. So I guess, yeah, you can end up piggybacking that a little less frustrating than I'm depicting, that your 320 hitting, battle title winning, good defensive center fielder that has a 6 WAR season? Sure. I'll believe it, but I don't at all. If there's another side of the coin that was like Jung-Hoo Lee has an OPS plus of 95, hammering that. Hammering. I realize that's not as hot.
One of these.
Realize that's not as hot, but I'd hammer that with everything I have. That's what we've got for today, folks. Appreciate you tuning in. A little bit of a funky day on our end because the Yankees schedule got moved. So want to get this out to you guys so we could go do Talking Yanks. I advertise the Chris Rose show a lot. They got discussions. Go check it out. And go check out everything on John Boy Media or subscribe to this right now. We appreciate you. We will be back Monday.
Coming your hot take.